Hey guys, Kelly Todd here. I am a senior adoption consultant and the social media manager for Christian Adoption Consultants. This month, we've been discussing how to love well in adoption, and specifically ways to love and support all sides of the adoption triad. But today, I wanted to hone in on how family and friends can love and support a couple who may be walking through a failed or interrupted adoption. An interrupted adoption is when an expecting mother chooses not to move forward with the adoption plan at some point after being matched with a hopeful adoptive family. So those outside of the adoption community might be unfamiliar with the pain associated with an interrupted adoption. But I can tell you, having walked with families through this difficulty, it is a very, very heavy burden to carry. Families walking through an interrupted adoption are enduring incredible loss. Essentially, the hopes and the dreams they had attached to this situation, to this child, are no longer moving forward. They've halted. And that can be an excruciating loss to process and make sense of, especially considering everything they've already walked through in the adoption process, right? So completing a tedious home study, applying to adoption agencies and attorneys, presenting their profile again and again. So I wanted to share some helpful tips for family members and friends to come alongside of couples who are going through an interrupted adoption. The first and probably most important thing you can do is listen. Create a space where your friend or family member feels safe to share about their loss. Another thing you can do is acknowledge their loss. An interrupted adoption is very much a loss, so don't shy away from acknowledging it as one. You can acknowledge the loss by saying or even writing a card. You could say something simple like, "I'm so sorry for your loss. I know that must be very difficult for you guys. I want to remind you that we're here for you. God is with you, and we love you so much." Some people can get hung up on, "Oh, I don't know what to say," or "I don't know how to say it," so they don't say anything at all. Just know that there are no magic words you could say to take the pain away. So don't feel like you have to say much. Just be there with them and remind them that you aren't going anywhere. Remind them that God is holding their hand, and remind them that you love them. After you've listened and acknowledged their loss, pray for them. Pray that the Lord would continue to comfort them through this situation. Pray that the Lord would heal their hearts. Pray that God would give them everything they need to continue moving forward in this process. Pray for the expecting mother and her baby. Pray that the Lord would give her everything she needs to parent her child well. Don't underestimate the value of bringing a meal. I think most of us can probably think back to a time where we were going through something difficult and our hearts and our bodies were served well by the love and care found in someone bringing us a meal. When you are thinking about what to bring this couple and how to tangibly support them well, try to stay away from comments like, "Let me know if you need anything." Oftentimes, people who are struggling or grieving with a loss can barely make it out of the bed in the morning, let alone let you know what they need. That can actually add pressure and stress onto their already burdened shoulders. So just show up. Let them know you're bringing them dinner or their favorite coffee drink or even a dessert. Small gestures like that go a long way for grieving hearts. Another thing you can do is share your favorite worship song with them, perhaps one that got you through a difficult time. Share a helpful Bible verse that the Lord used to minister to your heart when you were walking through a difficult time. But be cautious and discerning of what Bible verses or songs you share. Our words are powerful, and you don't want to add to their hurt even more by what you might say or share. Verses like, "And God works all things out for our good," can be very difficult for a grieving heart to hear. Although we know that is true, right? That God does work all things out for our good. When someone is newly grieving, it may be more helpful to provide reminders about how God is with them in their suffering and he isn't going anywhere. One of my favorite verses to share or to think about when I'm going through a difficult time or when my friends are hurting is Psalm 34:18. The Lord is close to the brokenhearted and saves those who are crushed in spirit. A good truth can still be shared at the wrong time, so just be mindful and prayerful over what you say. 8 years ago, I still remember what one of my very best friends did and said for me after I had a miscarriage. She was there. She showed up. She listened to me cry and talk on the phone for hours. She didn't try to hurry me along in my grief. She checked in on me consistently and asked how she should be praying, how she could be praying. She gifted me with a beautiful memorial necklace that I still have today. And she reminded me that God was with me and that he wasn't going anywhere. She was the hands and feet of Jesus, and I felt his love for me through her words and actions. Loving friends and family as they are going through loss and adoption can be overwhelming. Sometimes your words may feel inadequate or your actions may feel like they aren't doing much for your grieving friend. But I can assure you they are. So keep showing up, keep being there for your friend, and keep lifting that couple up to the Lord, asking him to heal their hearts because he is faithful.